All right, let's decode the real psychology behind a digital habit that causes so many of us, well, completely unnecessary guilt. We live in a world that expects instant availability, right? But today, in this explainer, we're going to look at the actual science of why some of us just can't bring ourselves to text back right away.
Be honest here. Have you ever found yourself in this exact situation? You see the ping light up your phone, you read the message perfectly from your lock screen, and instead of typing back, you just put the phone down and wait. Sometimes for a few minutes, sometimes for hours.
Most people assume this delay makes you rude, arrogant, or just plain antisocial. They might even take it personally and call it bad communication. But the psychological research we're diving into today actually reveals something completely different. It shows that your brain might just be operating on an entirely different level. Section 1, the delayed reply stigma, reclaiming your digital boundaries. Let's start by looking at exactly how your brain handles all that digital noise. So, think about your cognitive bandwidth. This is the limited mental capacity your brain has to process incoming information. The crucial point here is that every single notification, every ping, every buzz is a literal demand for your attention. And highly self-aware people quickly realize that this constant digital noise, it's incredibly mentally expensive. When every single text demands an instant reply, your cognitive bandwidth just gets rapidly depleted. The costs are high, your focus suffers, creativity drops, and your mental peace is heavily disrupted. It leaves absolutely no room for your brain's natural craving for fresh ideas and deep thought. The core truth here is that you aren't avoiding people. Delaying your reply is simply and intentionally protecting your cognitive space for the things in your life that actually matter. You're basically reallocating your mental energy away from the noise and directly toward your priorities. Section 2. The cost of social sensitivity, why digital chatting is exhausting. Let's see how this biological need for mental space builds directly into your everyday social interactions. Psychology points to a fascinating trait called high social sensitivity. If you have this trait, your nervous system is incredibly attuned to social dynamics. Because you process so much social data, even simple digital conversations require significant mental effort. This means you literally burn more energy during social contact than the average person. Because of that rapid energy drain, your brain naturally needs more recovery time to recharge its batteries. So stop feeling flaky when you put your phone away. You're simply taking a completely necessary biological pause to recover from everyday social exhaustion. Moving to Section 3, the power of cognitive reflection, analyzing before reacting. Now our focus shifts from biological needs to some pretty incredible intellectual strengths. Cognitive reflection is the psychological trait of analyzing information, context, and consequences before taking action. Highly intelligent people don't just react on autopilot, they reflect. They inherently analyze potential consequences before responding. By waiting, you're choosing to hold off until you actually possess the full mental capacity to provide a truly genuine, thoughtful response. While it might look to an outsider like you're just ignoring your phone, your brain is actually going through a highly active, analytical, millisecond process. You're reading between the lines, you're picking up on the tone and emotional subtleties of the text, you're projecting the consequences of your reply, and only then are you drafting a careful response. So, the next time someone accuses you of being aloof, remember this: it is not arrogance. By choosing your words carefully, instead of just firing off a quick, thoughtless message, you're demonstrating a profound level of high emotional intelligence.
Section 4. Escaping the dopamine loop, breaking the addiction to the ping. This brings us to a really fascinating contrast regarding exactly how different people value digital validation. People who routinely delay their replies often exhibit low social dependency. This means you have a strong internal locus of evaluation. You don't need constant digital chatter to feel good about yourself. Instead, you judge your worth entirely by your own metrics and standards, and definitely not by your texting speed.
There's a stark contrast between these two mindsets. The instant replier is often hooked on variable reward reinforcement. They're addicted to those random bursts of digital dopamine. But the delayed replier, you're driven by that internal independence we just talked about. You simply aren't addicted to the ping. Section 5, the rich inner world, recharging in silence. Let's explore what's actually happening in your mind while you wait. Psychologists note that people who prefer this kind of quiet detachment share these distinct traits: a stronger inner world, a richer imagination, and deeper self-awareness. Constantly replying to texts actively interrupts your natural thought flow. You delay because your own inner world is genuinely more stimulating and engaging to you than small talk. When we break down these communication preferences, we see that rapid-fire texting is often superficial and reactive, aimed at instant validation. But delayed responses, they are deep, authentic, and highly reflective, aimed at true, meaningful connection. You don't dislike the person texting you. You just naturally prefer depth over superficial interactions. Section 6. The reframe. Stop feeling guilty. Let's bring all of this together and completely change how we view this digital habit. Taking hours to reply doesn't mean you're broken. Ultimately, it means your mind simply works differently. It means you have a higher standard for connection, you actively protect your cognitive bandwidth, you're naturally wired for deeper thinking over immediate gratification, and most importantly, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. I want you to burn this quote into your memory. Take it as your primary takeaway today for the very next time you feel that heavy pressure of an unread message sitting on your screen. You aren't ignoring them, you are protecting your peace. Which leads us to our final thoughts. Now that you truly understand the powerful, intelligent psychology behind your communication style, how will you protect your peace today? Will you finally drop the guilt the next time you intentionally leave a text on read? I certainly hope so. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep protecting that brilliant inner world of yours.